Good morning, friends. It's Miss Colleen. And again, I'm in my teacher closet. And today I'm excited to share with you one thing that we can all do while we're at home. And it's something that we will look forward to when we get older. We'll get to look back and see what exactly we were doing and how we were feeling. But first, what I wanted to do was share a couple of stories with you that were written by myself as a child and my son Joshua when he was a boy your age. So the first one that I want to share with you, if you look here, it's very delicate because the papers are very, very old, like Miss Colleen. And you'll see this tape is brown and there's some wacky staples. This story is called The Queen and the King and Amy and Glenn by Colleen Ann Homa. There's no pictures, so you'll just have to use your imagination. And I probably was in maybe first grade or second grade when I wrote this. There's no date on it, but the handwriting tells me that it's probably first or second grade. Chapter 1, The King and the Queen. One day, the king went for a walk and saw a beautiful queen. Her name was Anne. The king's name was Joe. A month later, she had a baby. She named it Amy. And the king was very shy. But he spanked her. That's kind of a weird story. We don't do that today, do we? Then there's this weird picture of the king. Looks like he's spanking the queen, the girl. Oh my, what was in my brain at that age? Oh. Then Anne was very sick, and she died. Then Joe was very sick, and he died. Amy married Glenn, and they moved to a new home. It was a house, and lived happily ever after. Whew, I'm glad that story had a happy ending. It was a little dicey there at the beginning. Okay, that was one story for Miss Colleen. Here's another one. Again, no date. We'll talk about the date, the importance of a date a little bit later. This one's called My Friend by Chuck's Owner, my dog Chuck. Now, I have to tell you, I never had a dog named Chuck. So I was again using my imagination. I'm quite imaginative. My dog Chuck. Chuck can swim. He can ride a bike. My dog Chuck is very smart. I love my dog Chuck. He is really cool. The end. And you see, there's my nice handwriting. So that was another little story. Again, with a good, happy ending, because Chuck the dog was really cool. This one is a journal that is my son Joshua's journal from when he was in preschool. And this is a great idea for those of you who can't write quite yet, but you can still draw many pictures. Like here's a picture. But there was one I wanted to share with you. Let me find it. Okay, so this has a date on it, which is very important because then I know how old he was. It was October 18th, 1995. So he was born in 1990, and that means he was 5 years old. So just in pre-K probably. He drew this picture. Look at that nice little picture with the, look at those eyes. Woo, very stylish. It said, our book for today was Monkey Face The little monkey tried to draw a picture of his mother according to what his friends thought she looked like. Now, Josh's teacher wrote that because she asked Josh about his picture, and that's what he said. So my guess is either this is Monkey Face or this is a masterpiece of his beautiful mother. I don't know which. I'll have to ask him. But if you can't write, this is a great way to write in a journal. And you can write even about a story that you've read. Here's another one. This is by Joshua again. And the title of it is Jack and the Beanstalk by Joshua Homa, 9/23/1993. So he was 3 years old when he wrote this one. And he drew the pictures and then told me what to say. Jack buys beans and milk. Giant is fast asleep. Jack takes the golden hen. He runs. That looks like he's running. Fee, fi, fo, fum. I smell the blood of an Englishman. Be he live or be he dead, I'll crush his bones to make my bread. Ooh, my family's kind of weird, aren't they? The giant comes up on the beanstalk. Ooh, Jack chops down the beanstalk. The giant fells. The end. That was thrilling. I loved it. I loved the illustrations. I loved that the story was short and sweet. Very nice. Okay, so one more thing that we're going to talk about. The reason why I was reading all these stories is I wanted to talk to you about writing in a journal. See, this is a journal that Josh wrote. And because it was his journal, it's got all these pages. Some of them have pictures. Some of them have words. You can make a journal for yourself. You can take just some plain white paper, like computer paper if you have that at home, or notebook paper, because that's what I used for both my stories. If you want to use the full sheet, you can, or you can fold it and have your parents help you fold it into a little book, and you can write your story. You can write a story. You can draw pictures and have your mom or dad or your big sister or brother help you write the words if you need to. If you're older student, maybe you want to just each day write a little bit about what you did that day. Now, I will tell you that stories are for everyone, and journals are to be shared only with those that you want to share them with, because those sometimes are our personal thoughts. So either way, you get to choose who you want to share your writing with and your drawings with. So here are a couple of hints when you're doing your journal. First, make sure you put the date on it. Like today, it's March 23rd, 2020. You can write it this way, or you can write it, this way. I gave you many options. But on mine, I didn't put the date, so I'm not sure how old I was when I wrote those. I'm just guessing because I don't really remember. But if you put the date on it, then you'll know exactly how old you were when you wrote that story or when you wrote that journal entry. Here's the next idea. Practice neat handwriting. Now, I know some of you don't like to do handwriting, and at school we had to practice our letters And sometimes we had to write a second draft because we didn't do it so neat. But this is a good time, since we're not in school writing a lot, it's a good time to practice our best handwriting. And I wrote the word neat, messy. And then I wrote the word neat, neat. And again, later on, like when you're on YouTube and you're reading your stories to your friends, you want to be able to read them, don't you? So keep the neatness in mind. All right, here's another one. These are for your older kids who are used to writing. What goes at the beginning of a sentence? Exactly, a capital letter. All sentences start with an uppercase letter, and I wrote you some examples. But you guys know the uppercase and lowercase. And if you don't, if you haven't got that far yet in your learning, that's a good thing to practice, because each letter can be written 2 different ways. And finally, here it is. What goes at the end? At the end of a sentence, there's something called punctuation, and it tells us how a sentence should be read. And that helps the person reading the sentence understand what it's about. There's a period, a question mark, or an exclamation point. So here's an example from my story. It looks like all my stories end with a period, but listen to how they will change when I use each one. Okay, we'll use the line, Chuck can swim. Okay, that ended with a period. I'm just telling you, Chuck can swim. That's a period. Nothing too exciting. I'm just telling you the facts. Now, what if I put a question mark? Chuck can swim? I'm asking. That's when I'm asking a question, is our question mark. That's a good thing to practice too when you're writing. What if it was an exclamation point? I would read it. Chuck can swim! I'm so excited. It's an exciting thing. We read it a little bit louder sometimes, and it tells the reader that this is important and it's exciting. So don't forget, period, question mark, and exclamation point when you're writing in your journal. So that's what you're going to start today. And you can do pictures, you can do words. It's yours. Do it however you want. I'll see you again tomorrow. Bye-bye.